Hi everyone, welcome to the CC Armor channel. Today I'm going to cover something really simple, a question that I get asked very often, and it's about the Shadow 2 Orange and whether or not it can still be upgraded. Is there anything you can do in the Shadow 2 Orange to make it better? That's the question that I always get asked. But before we get into that, I want to put a little disclosure here and say that's for the YouTube police out there that I'm not going to be doing any modifications or showing how to do any modifications or replacing parts by aftermarket parallel or anything like that in this video. This is simply a video explaining differences and similarities between two guns, and that's all I'm going to do. It's for information and education purposes only. Having said that, let's begin. So Shadow 2 Orange. I know this is not a new release from CZ. I know that's not even close to be a new gun out there. There are tens, if not hundreds, of videos already reviewing these guns extensively, talking about the benefits, advantages and disadvantages and differences between the orange model versus blue, black, urban gray, and so on. So I'm not going to go there. I had two of them to work on simultaneously, and I thought was a good opportunity to just address the question that is there anything that can still be done to it, given that the orange suffix in the CZ world means the best of the best, and any CZ Shadow 2 is already an impeccable firearm out of the box, in my opinion at least. A orange is just like a step above, right? It is assembled by KMR, which they do just top quality CZ clones, and to my knowledge, the Shadow 2 Orange is just like they pick the parts very specifically in a very meticulous way to make sure everything fits perfectly. Slides hand fit to the frame. There's a 1911 bushing here. You can tell like some internal differences, like the disconnector that come in this gun is already oversized and fit to the gun. Is not that just mass-produced when disconnected that you have in the other versions of the Shadow 2. So with that, you get a little bit of a reach reduced already, a better pre-travel on single action. The trigger is very smooth out of the box, smoother than what you're going to see in the blue, black, and the other versions out there. It comes with the competition hammer. Anyways, like I said, I'm already going there, but I didn't want to go there and talk about the differences that you have in this gun versus the other versions. So here's what I want to really show in terms of benefits and what can still be improved. So you got this one has not been worked yet. So I'm gonna measure the trigger in double action, single action, the weight of the trigger, and to the best of my ability here, I'm gonna try to share with you the experience that I'm having with the trigger, how smooth it is, whether it's light or not, what kind of a friction or anything I'm feeling here. On the Shadow 2 Blue Black, the other models, I can tell you there's a lot more friction. It's a lot less smooth than this is. So this is already very smooth out of the box. It's a lighter trigger out of the box on double action. Still a little bit heavy, but lighter than what you have in the other ones. The double action, you got this is one of the main things for me. Is like this is like you get a little bit of travel here, which is less than you would have in the other versions, but you touch the wall and it's a hard wall. As you push it, it just breaks. There is not much of that rolling wall that traditionally CZ, even Shadow 2s, even the single action ones would have. This one is just like, it looks like the hammer and the sear just match perfectly, because you hit that wall and you push it and you pull the trigger, it just breaks. There is not much, like zero creep, zero rolling. It feels like a 1911 wall, to be honest. So, and that's without upgrades, okay, without doing anything. So let's see what the trigger weight feels like. Okay, I'm going to use a Wheeler digital trigger gauge here real quick and try to measure this double action first, and then we go to single, see what we had. So it's 0 now. Put it there, try to pull it slowly so it registered correctly. It's about 8 pounds. So 8 pounds, that's kind of an average in the Shadow 2. Even with the other models, you're going to see something between 7 and as low as 7, as high as 10 pounds out of the box in the Shadow 2. So single action, that one we're going to have a more precise measurement. So if we go there, pull very slowly, 2 pounds, 13.6 ounces. I'm going to go it again, just to make sure it wasn't a one-off. 3 pounds, 13.2 ounces, perfectly. So very consistent trigger, a little under 3 pounds, 213. Now we're gonna get the one that was worked on, and we're gonna measure to see the difference there. And what else I can say on in terms of, I mean, the trigger is gonna be that, right? The bushing is fantastic. You got the 1911 style bushing, so there is no upgrade to be done here. This is already the best it can get. It's a very tight lockup with the barrel here. It's a like a stainless finish nickel plated barrel. That's different than the other Shadow 2s as well. And this is different than this too, because this is an optics, looks like an optic ready model. So it's a Shadow 2 orange optic ready model versus this one that was, the slide was cut to fit the dot, to accommodate the dot. So let's see now. This one has been changed. This one has the changes that were done to this gun. It basically, I can tell this wasn't, I didn't do this. It came like that, but it has a Cajun slide stop. This is not the original slide stop. That's occasion one. Extended safety is standard on both, so that comes with the gun, which is also different from the other Shadow 2s. Interesting enough, in the past, back in 2017, 2018, the Shadow 2 blue and black, both, to my knowledge, they came with extended safety as an option. CZ just stopped shipping them with extended safety at some point. And if you want an extended safety, you need to buy a separate part. But after that, but the orange comes with one already. So what was done to this gun is, obviously there's a Cerakote job on it to get some of this, you know, hexagon in orange. The collar, Cerakote collar, let me get that for you. So the Cerakote job done on this one was done with the colors. The black is graphite black, it's H146 on the H series of Cerakote, and the orange is Hunter Orange H128. They're both oven cured. That's what the Series H of Cerakote means. So very durable. Worked really well. Anyways, so the Cerakote job was done, and we did not do the whole Pro package. What we did here was just what I did here was just the trigger. Trigger was replaced by the old fashioned trigger with both adjustments for pre-travel and post-travel. That's part of the reach reduction kit. We changed the disconnector. So the disconnector that comes on it is an oversized disconnector already fitted by KMR, but there is a little bit of an advantage when using aftermarket disconnector. So we got a little bit more reach reduction here and a little better pre-travel in single action, and a few springs that are changed as part of the ultralight kit. And I believe the reach reduction, no, it's just like we replaced the trigger return spring by a reduced power trigger return spring. The main spring has been reduced by the 11.5 pound. You have an option for the 13 pound as well. They come in the ultralight kit from Cajun. What else was replaced here? Oh, the firing pin. So it got an extended firing pin, but that's what was done. And some polishing and feeding job to make sure everything is as smooth as possible. So see here now, it's obviously a much lighter trigger. It's super smooth. So it is smoother. Like this one is very smooth, but it's just not the same. There's still some friction here that can be removed, and this is like basically zero friction. This trigger go back and forth without touching. Looks like it's not touching anything. Almost zero pre-travel here. That's all it has in take up in double. So there's a little bit more take up in double here. As you can see, that's as much as you have with the one out of the box, and this is as much as you can have with the one that is upgraded. You can actually have zero, like make this hard, like no pre-travel whatsoever. The reason I don't like to do this is because if the set screw that is on top of the trigger here that adjusts that distance walks out a little bit, your trigger won't reset anymore. So I leave that little, like 1 millimeter, less than 1 millimeter take up, just to make sure there is some tolerance there. That trigger moves, if that set screw moves like a quarter turn, your trigger will still work fine. So that's why that is there. Reset's not much difference, a little bit shorter, right? Very tactile and a little bit shorter reset. That's as much pre-travel as you have in single, and then hit the wall. It didn't change, right? That wall is still hard. I didn't change the sear or the hammer here, so it's perfectly matched. So they match perfectly, and that's what we got in this one now. Let me see trigger weight. Trigger gauge. Let's go double. Try to do the double again. It's hard. My trigger freeze, or the gauge freeze, but it's measuring 4 pounds and 14. Do one more time to make sure it wasn't a one-off. 5 pounds too. So it's hard to get consistency with the double action. Let's call it 5 pounds. So it's about five in a few ounces compared to what we had 8 before. So that's significantly better, significantly lighter. On the single action, see what we got here. That's a 1 pound, 14.3 ounces. Let me do it again. 1 pound, 14.8 ounces. So the consistency is still there, the one that we saw in this one. But this one was 2 pounds and 14 ounces. So basically a pound lighter after all the changes we did in this one. So the answer to the question, can the Shadow 2 Orange still be upgraded? The answer is yes. There's 2 things you can do on the Shadow 2 Orange to make it better. So it is a great, fantastic gun out of the box, even better than the Shadow 2 Black, Urban Grey, the other models out there. But yes, there's still stuff that you can do, still things that improvements that you can make and make this even better. So I hope this has been useful information to you. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video.